Asibonge. Dle ama-gravies la kangwane. Sibonge. Hello. Lishangane la kaShezi leli la eSwatini kangwane. Ngifuna ukukhuluma ngale ndzaba yala makwerekwere lapho esikhwahlande. Ngala nhlupha kakhulu. Abalekane la suka khona ethi la atoganga la. Ayalo ngicela ukukhuluma ngesingisi. I want you to listen to this. You see, all foreigners from everywhere that they come from, they must leave South Africa, not out of xenophobia or whatever that you may think of. You see, the thing is, the influx of foreigners in one space is causing a lot of problems. Hayi man umsindo lapho senibanga umsindo. Hayi. Okay. Now let's do like this. I need you to understand that the influx of illegal foreigners in that country is causing problems not only for South Africa, but for every other African. You see, the mass migration of people into South Africa is causing a strain on the economy and public infrastructure, of which South Africa, as it is now, I don't care how it got there, but I need you to understand that it's one of the main pillars of Africa economically. Should South Africa fail as a state now, the whole of Africa will go down with South Africa. So, as things stand now, South Africa must be protected, because if South Africa fails, we are more likely to see European powers coming back to colonize Africa, just like they did before. And South Africa, as it is now, is standing in the way of that happening. So everybody, I don't care about the political opinions of other people saying all the foreigners that are in South Africa must be documented and given citizenship. You cannot do that, because when you do that, South Africa already has an unemployment problem right now. You see, I want you people to think in terms of emergency, not communicate your feelings about how you feel. Think about what will work now. You see, right now, even if you document all the foreigners the other day in South Africa, it's more likely to lead to more crime and more decline in public services, because right now there isn't any plan to create jobs for ordinary South Africans that are in that country. You see, if you now bring other people in, you're gonna cause a lot of problem for all of us. We might actually be in a position where we are losing Africa, not just South Africa. You see, in my country where I am, Eswatini, I do know that at large, our leaders are Western puppets. I may put it like that. You see, we do know. But if we are going to solve the problem of underdevelopment of Africa, we shouldn't start by destroying what's already been developed. You see, we should preserve what is developed and then use it as a springboard to develop the rest of Africa. But how do we use South Africa as a springboard to develop the rest of Africa? It's not by taking people and putting them in Johannesburg there, they must live in shacks there. No. One of the things, we may implement proper trade policies that will help us as Africans to take advantage of the South African economy. You see, South Africa only trades about 27% with African countries. You see, the rest is Europe. We need to come up with strategies that will increase that 27% to 97%. trade amongst ourselves as Africans. The mass migration of people in documentation of people who are not from a certain place will only lead to problems, you see. So I beg you, my fellow Africans, stop being stupid and think that moving one people from other people to from one place to another place will actually make Africa better. No, it won't happen. You look at countries like Zimbabwe, run by crocodiles that are stealing all the money, you see. But it doesn't mean that because there's corruption in Zimbabwe, people must move from there and to from one place to another place will actually make Africa better. No, it won't happen. You look at countries like Zimbabwe, run by crocodiles that are stealing all the money, you see. But it doesn't mean that because there's corruption in Zimbabwe, people must move from there and stay in South Africa. It doesn't mean because my country here, Eswatini, is at large a mismanaged country. You see, we cannot deny that. But it doesn't mean now everybody in Swaziland must jump the border and go and stay there. Because if everybody from Eswatini moves to stay in South Africa, what happens to the land, this land? It's gonna be left for those who colonized it in the past to come back and take the land here. You see, what's happening in South Africa now is actually strategic. Is the enemy trying to divide Africa and crush South Africa so that they can come back? And this time, they might have actually a point, because they will say, we gave you your freedom, we gave you your independence, you failed to run your states. So now we're coming back to colonize you because you are failures. You see, let us not be stupid as Africans. Let's come together, let's work together. But coming together and uniting as Africa doesn't mean everybody is going to Johannesburg to stay there and unite Africa. The whole of Africa must be united in Johannesburg. No, that shouldn't work like that. I hope you people get my point. You see. Secondly, the issue of migration in South Africa is not new. And migration in Africa generally is not new. I remember during the early 2000s, so in my country there was a lot of influx of Mozambicans. They were staying in Manzini there. And there was a lot of crime there. What happened? My country acted out of emergency. They didn't even negotiate or do any political war. No. All the Mozambicans that were there undocumented were loaded in military trucks and deported back to Mozambique. You see, they were even arrested. They were just deported to reduce the crime. And then when they come back. Now, we live side by side with Mozambicans. Some of them are undocumented, they are sharp. I agree with that. But you have to understand the scale of things. You see, having one Mozambican, two Mozambican here and there is not a problem. We are not going to fight with them for that. You see, but when the whole population that can form an entire city is coming here undocumented, that becomes a problem. Let us understand that. South Africa is not the only country to have practiced mass deportation of people out of South Africa. Eswatini did it in 2000, 2005 there. I remember it very, I was still young, I was still a boy, but it happened. You see, let us not treat South Africa as a unique case that they are doing something evil for taking out the foreigners there. No. It's happening now. It will happen in the future. As long as we have stupid leaders who believe that they've got to steal the money from governments, and this thing is happening everywhere. It's happening in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Sweden, everywhere. We have corrupt politicians and so-called leaders. You see, my point of view now is South Africa must be protected. It mustn't fall. You see, we need to keep South Africa functioning. And The first thing that must happen now is to take out those illegal foreigners so that the economy can have some breathing space there. Then everything else will come afterwards. Sibonge, sithule isikandaba udlabo dlamadoda.